everyone, and welcome to our PharmaPulse podcast, our brand new podcast by Reuters Events, where we decode the latest trends that are taking place within the pharma industry. My name is Kanna Hutton, and joining us today is Joydeep Ganguly, who is the Chief Sustainability Officer at Gilead Sciences, to discuss the industry's latest sustainability practices and innovations in sustainable pharma facility design. So we've got a lot of exciting questions and topics to dig into today. But before we get started, Joydeep, please can you tell us just a little bit about yourself and a little bit about your role as well?
Wonderful to be here, firstly. So my name is Joydeep Ganguly. As you said, I lead the corporate operations functions at Gilead, a function that involves master planning, the real estate, engineering, and it does have the sustainability function as a key component of that role. It's one of the most validating parts of my job, actually. Kind of also demonstrates a trend in the industry where the sustainability function is now sitting in the same area as engineering design and facilities and engineering. So you're trying to get to this entire holy mantra of sustainable by design.
Fantastic. Thank you, Joydeep. I'm going to kick things off with quite a thought-provoking stat, which is that obviously we know the pharma industry produces more carbon dioxide than the automotive industry. So with that, what do you see as being the biggest challenge and opportunity for the industry to meet the Paris 2030 climate goals, and how is Gilead Sciences positioning itself to lead in this transition?
That's a very profound question, and it's a sobering one, right? And when you think of the fact that I think a recent study at COP26 confirmed that I think there's only about 4% of the largest biopharma and the biotech companies have pledges that would keep to the 1.5 degree sort of industrial threshold that's in the Paris Climate Agreement. And a lot of it, I think, is a function of the way we've been operating in the past right now. But there's reason for optimism. And my reason for optimism primarily is I've seen a lot more energy, pardon my pun, on the sustainability movement over the last few years, where companies are getting together. They are recognizing that it is not just sufficient to use the fact that we have a patient at the end of our supply chain as a way of just doing good. We have to build facilities that are environmentally friendly. We have to really drive a new level of thinking around ensuring that we leave the planet in a better space than we found it. And that momentum is creating a huge opportunity space. The challenges till now has been we are very heavily regulated. As a result of which, once a drug does get approved, there is a great need for speed to try and get this out to the market as soon as possible. And a result of trying to do projects on sustainability post-approval, they require a lot more time and a lot more commitment. And therefore, a lot of things that you'll see with my peers and myself is we're trying to promote the notion of sustainable by design. So we build facilities that are already at net zero. We operate with conditions and leveraging technology that get us to a much better place. That's probably the reason why we see where we get this soundbite that we are more energy intense than the automotive industry. A lot of it is the regulations. A lot of it is the legacy. But I do believe our best is yet to come in the space.
Wonderful. Fantastic, Joydeep. So my second question is around the environmental footprint of the pharma industry. So please, can you elaborate on some of the key sustainability initiatives that are being implemented to A, reduce greenhouse gas, and B, increase renewable energy use as well?
It's a great question, and I'll probably just respond in terms of major macro level buckets. If you take a look at the biopharma industry, there are three areas that we really litigated in terms of ensuring our sustainability footprint is better. One is in the product space, drug product development, and that area has seen a lot of green processes filter into it. The big area is the processes. They are actually the major reason that some of our GHG numbers are so high is because biotech manufacturing is an incredibly intensive process, both from a carbon perspective, an energy perspective, and a water perspective. If you take the average biologics plant, it uses a tremendous amount of water at different conditions, hot, cold, ambient, which require cooling and heating systems that create further energy sort of demands. And those redefining the processes by which you actually make the product that goes into patients has become a huge component of our efficiency paradigm within the sustainability space. And the third one, which I'm most passionate about, is the operational footprint. There's a lot of things in terms of renewables, electrification, and there's this entire fertile space in the use of technology in this space to try and actually get down to where your facilities are far more energy friendly. When I started my career, I think there were zero net zero facilities. And now if you take a look at the fundamental design of facilities, there's a big concept of promoting net zero design principles within engineering codes that drive you to that paradigm. So operations, process, and product are the three big areas. And then you have projects within them, be it renewables, be it electrification, be it solar panels. And I think that you will see over time a huge component of technology disrupting the space and the status quo in a good way.
Fantastic. Before I get into technology, you briefly mentioned patients earlier. So obviously the goal of the pharma industry is to really create those exceptional outcomes for patients. So in the context of sustainability and pharma facility design, can you share specific examples or stories or recent projects from companies like Chugai and United Therapeutics and Gilead Sciences as well that really showcase these innovative approaches to balancing life-saving therapy production with environmental responsibility as well?
Yeah, great question. One of my things that I do on the side is actually very involved with the ISPE. And we have a Facility of the Year award sort of process where where I get to be a judge and see some of the most extraordinary submissions of innovation facility design. And the facilities you talked about, Chugai and United, were both FOYA winners, Facility of the Year award winners. And the judging panel are the most sort of senior most engineering heads in big companies, right? J&J, Merck, Pfizer, Gilead. And one of the things we consistently looking at is, are we incentivizing and encouraging companies to embrace innovation for better use? And the Chugai's facility, for example, was a biologics facility, but it's going to be what I believe one of the first facilities that's going to redefine biologics manufacturing moving on. They actually went ahead and they won the award for social impact, and they did it by demonstrating. It was a very clever use. They called it the 3 zeros for sustainable development, where they went zero hydrocarbon, zero natural gas use, and zero carbon dioxide by using a combination of different coolant systems, electric boilers, solar panels, etc. And it was super impressive to see their deep-rooted commitment. Same thing with United. I mean, they won an honorable mention award, but they won it because they showed and demonstrated sustainability in their facility, which was actually a clever use of their master planning. They used facilities, and they located the facilities in a space that was very supportive of broader biodiversity initiatives. But it was a net facility where actually the generation of energy through their on-site renewables exceeds what they're going to use in their facility. So they've offsetted anything they want to do in that space. So these are two great examples. I think the industry is moving. At Gilead, again, we've doubled down on technology. The beauty of Gilead, where I talk about it, is now our engineers don't know how to not build a sustainable facility. I mean, if you ask them to build one that is non-sustainable, they won't know how, because all our specifications and our internal engineering playbooks get us to that entire process where you have to sort of design it for sustainability. I'll end my commentary on this part with a little bit of a philosophical take. I talk about Chugai and United. It is vitally important that we as an industry pride and shine a light on our peers in terms of what successes they have. I keep defining sustainability is something that we should not compete on. As a collective industry, it's something we can collaborate on. The planet's not going to care who came in first at zero. It care who comes in last, because that's where I think that's where the rubber's going to hit the road. So within the Facility of the Year judging, etc., our big initiative is to take those examples, hoping that it inspires others to embrace the same platforms, the same paradigms, the same technologies, and that's how you get to a sustainability culture. I mean, if you ask me, the one biggest reason for both optimism and challenge for me is, can we make sustainability more a culture and lesser a project or a series of programs in that perspective?
Yeah, no, I really like that, and I couldn't agree more. And going back to the use of technology, so there's obviously, we've seen so much hype around artificial intelligence, machine learning, and broader advanced control algorithms in accelerating a company's environmental strategy. So are there any case studies that you can share within Gilead or the broader industry that can talk to the potential of these technologies? And is there anything within ISPE or other industry forums where these applications are really being advanced?
Well, absolutely. Gilead, and I'm sure other companies can have their own series of wins. AI and machine learning have created tremendous use cases. I mean, whether you talk about simple things like having digital twins that
Yeah.
can create different predictive maintenance processes. We have machine learning algorithms that predict the energy usage of a facility based on surrogate parameters. And if there's a slight disruption, it is a call to the engineer to go and take a look at the facility and say something's wrong right now.
Mhm.
We've got things like sensor-based utilization. So we have, virtual sensors, spatial sensors that can detect the utilization of a facility, and then that allows you to predict the energy usage. And then again, you can take a look at disruption. I actually
Mhm.
think this is where some of the most powerful AI use cases in the biopharma industry, ironically, have been in the operation space. It's
Yeah.
not the most glamorous part of the value chain. Everyone
Mhm.
wants to take a look at AI and ML in drug design and drug development, and obviously that's where the holy grail is, where you're able to really reform the value chain of the industry. But operations, historically, we have been a very non-technology friendly part of the value chain. We've focused a lot more on compliance, and even quality and compliance are being disrupted in the space. But
Mhm.
sustainability has become one that has been ripe for the AI and ML movement to the effect that I think at these ISPE conferences, they have an annual meeting, they have conferences around facilities of the future. When I go to some of these conferences, the number of presentations on actual active real world use cases are tremendous. And I'm there now. I started off with on the camp of whether AI was going to be more hype than reality, but just seeing the real world cases and the impact people have had has been impressive.
Mhm.
I think it's something that's going to continue moving forward as well.
Wonderful. Fantastic. Thank you, Joydeep. I am going to chuck in one last question, which is quite last minute, but you already touched upon this a bit briefly earlier. But if you were to give kind of one key takeaway to those that are listening, what would that be? What would your kind of main learning be?
My biggest learning right now is really focusing on driving a sustainable culture. What you can't do is you can't achieve pledges, results, roadmaps, projects. They're very important right now. But sustainability is something where you can actually make it a grassroots movement. I keep talking about
Yeah.
the fact one of the things at Gilead that I'm proudest about is while I'm responsible for the sustainability programs and projects, sustainability is everyone's responsibility. It's no different than trying to drive a quality culture. If you have a
Mhm.
quality culture embedded in every employee, every resource, every asset within your company, you don't have to worry about quality. You have quality by design. And so it's
Mhm.
no different sustainability. Everything from, I'm prouder about grassroots movements that have led to zero waste to landfill in some of our
Mhm.
meeting management than I am
Mhm.
about an AI algorithm that created much better utility consumptions. And you
Yeah.
got it both right now, but my ask is, and that's what I mean, some of the times I get asked that is sustainability something that only big companies can do because we have the budgets and the resources. And I disagree with that notion. My thing is, you can start small, you can start and focusing on it. And that's where leadership comes in, making it part of leadership strategy, making it part of your broader mission as a company. I can't think
Mhm.
of I can't think of a better legacy to leave than one where we can actually look back at our patients and our next generation and say, as an industry, we did well by doing good.
Absolutely. No, I really like that. Thank you so much, Joydeep. And that is actually a wrap for today's episode of PharmaPulse. Obviously, your feedback is very valuable to us. So please do subscribe, rate, and review our podcast and let us know what you'd like to hear next. You can also connect with us on LinkedIn as well at Reuters Events Pharma. Back to you again, Joydeep. Thank you so much for joining us and for your learnings on how to really develop these life-saving therapies while also prioritizing sustainability. It absolutely is absolutely everyone's responsibility. So yeah, it's been absolutely wonderful having you. Thank you so much for sharing your learnings with us.
It was my pleasure.
Views expressed in this podcast are those of individuals being interviewed and do not reflect any company, parent company, or affiliates they represent.